High above the bustling financial district on the 55th floor of Apex Vanguard, the atmosphere always smelled of pristine eucalyptus, chilled recycled air, and the underlying tension of high-stakes corporate maneuvering. For over a decade, Clara Vance had mastered these intricate currents, serving as the chief architect of global acquisitions, whose invisible influence dictated the financial destiny of the entire corporation. Just as Clara was meticulously fine-tuning the final clauses of the multi-billion-dollar Meridian Accord on her tablet, the boardroom doors flew open with theatrical arrogance to reveal Chloe, the newly instated director's daughter. Fresh out of an elite business school funded entirely by her father's massive equity, Chloe strutted into the room wearing a predatory smirk that signaled she viewed everyone else as mere background actors in her personal movie. Interruption cutting sharply through the quiet hum of productivity, Chloe demanded Clara's attention not to discuss the monumental merger, but to aggressively criticize a minor aesthetic detail of her bespoke designer attire. Waving a dog-eared, obsolete employee handbook like a weapon, the young heiress declared that Clara's vintage gold-trimmed buttons and textured leather briefcase violated corporate policy regarding exterior presentation standards. Maintaining her trademark professional composure despite the sheer absurdity of the situation, Clara calmly reminded the petulant newcomer that she was hours away from finalizing a massive contract with industrial tycoon Arthur Pendleton. Blinded by an insatiable need to establish immediate dominance over the senior staff, Chloe completely disregarded the magnitude of the transaction and shrieked an official termination order across the echoing chamber. Recognizing the delicious irony of watching an incompetent novice willfully sabotage her own enterprise, Clara quietly snapped her tablet shut, accepted the dismissal without a single plea, and gracefully exited toward her office. Behind her, the junior analysts watched in stunned silence, acutely aware that Chloe had just severed the vital lifeline connecting Apex Vanguard to the elusive Pendleton family trust. Inside her private sanctuary of organized chaos, Clara methodically packed away her personal mementos, while deliberately leaving behind all the raw company files that lacked her crucial contextual annotations. She knew that without her intricate personal notebooks containing the unwritten verbal concessions and historical nuances, the incoming executives would completely alienate Arthur Pendleton within 48 hours. Stepping out into the hallway carrying her signature leather tote, Clara met the apologetic gaze of the head security guard before offering Chloe a serene, enigmatic smile as she pressed the elevator button. As the heavy metal doors slid closed to seal off the panicked expression rapidly forming on the young manager's face, Clara felt an intoxicating wave of absolute freedom wash over her entire being. Rather than panicking about her abrupt unemployment, Clara spent the afternoon wandering through a sunlit modern art museum, deeply appreciating the textures and brushstrokes she had ignored for years. Meanwhile, back at the skyscraper, her phone began vibrating incessantly with a chaotic barrage of panicked texts from her former assistant and desperate inquiries from the legal department. Settling comfortably into her apartment later that evening with a rich vintage wine, Clara casually scrolled through digital messages revealing that Chloe was currently screaming at empty servers and failing miserably on international phone calls. Even the chief financial officer eventually pinged her desperate personal line, offering a blank check and immediate reinstatement if she would only return to rescue the collapsing negotiations. Unlocking a hidden brass drawer in her antique mahogany writing desk, Clara retrieved a weathered leather binder containing the confidential legacy protocols that bound the Pendleton family to her alone. This foundational relationship had been forged decades earlier through her late father, establishing a bond of absolute trust that no corporate handbook or hostile takeover could ever replicate. With a steady hand and a calm pulse, Clara dialed the private, unlisted direct line of Arthur Pendleton, listening intently as the patriarch answered on the very second ring. In a concise, measured tone, she informed the billionaire magnate of her unjust termination and the absolute chaos unfolding under the incompetent leadership of the executive's inexperienced daughter. A low rumble of cold fury echoed through the receiver as Arthur absorbed the betrayal, immediately recognizing that Apex Vanguard had committed an irreparable blunder by casting aside their most essential asset. Instructing Clara to ignore all corporate overtures and severance packages entirely, the powerful industrialist invited her to an exclusive private breakfast at the Grand Meridian Bistro the following morning. Seated across from Arthur in a secluded booth of the opulent restaurant, Clara sipped her morning tea, while they casually dissected the catastrophic collapse of the merger happening across town. The billionaire laughed heartily upon learning how Chloe, had attempted to bully her way through delicate historical clauses without possessing a single shred of necessary background data. Recognizing that the corporate entity had forfeited its right to represent the multi-billion-dollar alliance, Arthur proposed that Clara establish an independent consultancy to handle the acquisition directly under his terms. With a brilliant smile and a renewed sense of purpose, Clara accepted the unprecedented offer, knowing that the arrogant executives would soon face the catastrophic consequences of their own short-sighted incompetence. As she signed the new partnership agreement while watching the distant glass tower burn through its own internal crisis, Clara realized that true power belonged to those who held knowledge rather than titles. Please subscribe to our channel and share this video with your friends and family. We create entertaining and inspiring stories for our viewers, and your support helps us continue making great content for you.